Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I'm just going to do this video, it's a bit different. So it's going to be about unusual, not weird, but unusual facts about anorexia that not many people realise or know about if you don't have anorexia, that is. And I'll just say from the outset that these are just things that I have personally experienced with anorexia. Not everybody with anorexia will have these weird things or side effects or unusual things happen, and it's in no way meant to trigger someone or make you feel like, well, if you haven't had that then you've not been ill enough. It's nothing like that. This is just some unusual facts that I've experienced having anorexia that I think not many people will know about. Okay, so number one is incontinence. So, wetting yourself. Not, I think if you spoke to the person in the street about anorexia, they probably might not know that it can cause you to wet yourself. And this is something I struggled with for years and years and years. I was had a very weak bladder, very unable to control it, particularly at night time. So, for the best part of 10 years, every night I had to go to bed wearing this big nappy pad because I would just wet myself. And that is the thing, often when you have anorexia, the muscles that control your bowel movements and your bladder, they become very weak because obviously you're starving your body, your muscles become weak. And it's not just your biceps and your visible biceps, quads type muscles. It is the muscles inside you. So your heart muscle, your bladder muscles, your pelvic floor, basically your pelvic floor that controls your bladder stuff, that becomes very weak. And I found for myself it left me incontinent. I would wet myself all of the time, and it's a very kind of debilitating experience, to be in your 20s and you're wetting the bed. But yeah, so that's an unusual fact that I think not many people know about. And if this is something you experience, then you're not alone. I've been there. Thankfully, with gaining weight and gaining strength, I've developed redeveloped my pelvic floor, so I don't suffer from that anymore. But I did suffer from it for a very long time. So unusual fact number two, which not many people will probably think about, is shaving and the problems with shaving, particularly under your armpit. And it sounds like a really kind of, does it really matter? I mean, no, it doesn't really, but shaving when you have anorexia can be so very difficult. Your armpit can often become like a hollow socket, and it feels like you just can't get the razor in there properly to shave off the hairs, and you cut yourself and it becomes really difficult, like really impossibly difficult. And even with shaving the legs, you can have, because of the bones, you can have angles in the legs which make it difficult. You always cut yourself. But as I say, it is probably not one of those things that many people will know about. Not many people will realise that when you have anorexia, it can cause a lot of issues with shaving. But again, this is just something I've experienced. Not everybody will. And so I have actually recently done a blog called 5 Unusual Facts About Living with Anorexia that not many people realise. So I'll put the link to that in the description box. So you can have a read of that if you want to over on my website. But anyway, moving on. So unusual fact number 3 that not many people realise about living with anorexia is having a bath can be very painful. Again, this is something I've experienced, not everybody will, but it was basically, I couldn't have a bath for years and years and years because it was just too painful. When you think about it, a bath is hard, like the surface is hard, and I found that if I couldn't sit in a bath because it was just too painful on, my joints and my bones. It was just impossible. Even sitting on the floor on a carpet was too much. So a bath was just never going to happen. So, I hadn't actually had a bath from, I prefer showers anyway, but I hadn't had a bath really for 20 years. Part of that was because I preferred showers, but then with becoming quite unwell, baths just couldn't happen. So baths can be very, very painful. I have, within the past few months, recently started having baths again, mainly for soaking my muscles after exercise for when I'm trying to recover. But I can do it now fine. And it's such a kind of liberating experience to think, oh my God, I can sit in a bath and it's comfortable. And that's, a big perk of recovery and, building your life up and, anorexia getting smaller, and you're able to do more things with having progressing recovery and gaining a bit of weight. So, unusual fact number 4 that I found about living with anorexia was that I couldn't belly laugh. And again, it is a weird one, and I didn't actually realise that I couldn't. I knew I couldn't do it, but I didn't really acknowledge that I couldn't do it until it was someone asked me, can you belly laugh? And I was like, actually, really, no, I can't. And the thing is with laughing is it's a very natural reaction. You find something funny and you automatically just laugh. You can't really control it because you find something funny, you laugh. It's just how the body reacts. And obviously when something is really, really funny, you really laugh, you belly laugh. But I found, when I was really, with anorexia, I couldn't do that. I didn't have the physical ability to really laugh like that, to, deep belly laugh. And the thing is, it is because your abdominal muscles become so weak that you can't laugh like that. And it is a very, very weird sensation when you can't belly laugh, because a lot of people will say that they can't belly laugh with anorexia because they can't find something that funny. Like, anorexia destroys their emotions. And that did happen to me. There was a point where I was like that. I couldn't find anything funny. But then as I was progressing in my recovery and, feelings and emotions came back, I could start to find things really, really funny. I just couldn't laugh enough to get that out of me. A bit like when you itch, it gets rid of the itch. When you really laugh like that, it gets the laugh out. And, I would find something really, really funny and I'd want to be laughing like that, and I would be not trying, but my body would go into that reaction state, but it was like an empty tingling sensation in my stomach that I just couldn't do it. And it didn't feel nice. It felt really, really uncomfortable and a weird kind of feeling. And I just thought, this is just how it is. But over the last few years, I can now belly laugh properly. And I did just happen to notice a couple of years ago, finding something really funny. I was like, oh my God, I'm belly laughing. This is amazing. I can actually do it now. And it is something I will never, ever take for granted again. And I think, so many people, general people out there will just find things really funny and laugh a lot. And it's just on autopilot. You just do it. It's just normal. But actually, when you've had something, not been able to do something, you realise what an important thing it is. And actually, belly laughing and being able to do it is such a great experience. And it feels, to me now, because I, again, have gained weight, gained strength, and I can belly laugh, I have the strength in my abdomen to do that. It feels great. It's fantastic to be able to belly laugh. But again, that is an unusual fact that not many people know, that sometimes when you have anorexia, you might not be able to belly laugh. So, unusual fact number 5, which is also kind of linked to the lack of abdominal muscles, is the fact that, well, for me anyway, I couldn't squeeze when I was on the toilet. So when I needed a number 2, like a bowel movement, I couldn't actually squeeze to get it out. And we all know what that feeling is like when you need to go to the toilet and you have to, you know, do a bit of a squeeze to get it out. But I would find, you know, I'd sit on the toilet and I just would not have the strength within my stomach to squeeze. And again, this is another very, very debilitating feeling in not being able to go to the toilet and be able to do a very, very normal bodily function. And it is probably something that not many people realise, that when you can be very ill with anorexia, you might not be able to go to the toilet or squeeze to go to the toilet. And then couple that with the but the digestive problems that often come alongside having anorexia, it just makes toilet time very, very unpleasant and uncomfortable. But as I said, these things that I've been speaking about are not things that you have to experience to have anorexia or to think you've been unwell with anorexia. They are just things that have happened to me, which could happen to other people, which, you know, people might not know about. But it is in no way trying to say you have to have these side effects in order to be unwell with anorexia, because you don't. You could have all of them, you could have none of them, you can have completely different ones. These are just things from my own personal perspective. And, you know, there will be lots and lots of other, you know, unusual, weird things about living with anorexia that not many people know about. I just thought I'd cover 5 that, you know, have been particularly relevant to myself. If you've got any ones you want to share, then please put them in the comments. I hope you like this video. As I say, I've done a blog on it, so if you want to check out the blog, please do. Hope it's not been triggering in any way, but hopefully you liked it. If you did, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and thank you for watching.